Today we're going to use paddle press to show you how to replace a rubber sheet on an existing paddle. Let's say you have your favorite paddle and you've been using it for a while. You can see here where the red side on my paddle has gotten a little worn. It's actually got an indent from where the thumb has been sitting for so long. So it needs to be replaced. So what we're going to do is take off the edge tape and then work on removing the rubber sheet. When you take a rubber sheet off of a paddle, always start at the bottom and you want to sort of rip it off straight up. You can tell how dry it is. Pieces of the paddle rubber are falling off. So start at the bottom and sort of slowly rip it straight up. If you rip it from side to side, you could get pieces of the paddle coming off from the glue with the rubber. So much better to start at the bottom, rip it straight up. Then sort of check it, make sure there's no extra glue sitting on the blade. If there is, just sort of clean it off with your hand. I was using Xiom Asia for the red side of the paddle. I'm planning on replacing the sheet with another brand new sheet of Xiom Asia. So let's get it out of the packaging. Alright, so you can see here that the new sheet is also red. Now that we have the rubber out of the packaging, the next step is to put some glue. We put about a quarter circumference worth of glue on the sheet, and we use our little sponge to spread it. And what you want to do is cover the entire sheet with the glue. Any excess we'll take off of the rubber sheet and spread it on the blade. Not really got to be too particular here. You just want to make sure the entire blade and the entire rubber sheet is covered with glue. That's just about there. Alright. Just finish up here covering things. Now we pick up the glued rubber sheet and we lay it on top of the blade. Make sure the label side is facing towards the handle of the blade. Then you'll take a roller, anything works, just to sort of press it down slightly, make sure there's no bubbles. With the Xiom rubbers, they're so thick, it's not really a problem. Just make sure that the rubber is sitting in the center of the blade. And that looks good. Now we're going to input it on the paddle press with the side that we're going to glue facing upward. And then we take the large force distributor and we set it on top of the rubber sheet and we clamp it down on both sides. And now we wait. I would normally wait overnight for the glue to dry, then come back the next day to start cutting it. Okay, here we are the next day. Now it's time to remove the large force distributor and check out our dried glue on the new rubber. So you can see it's dried pretty well. And now the next step will be to cut the rubber sheet to the size of the blade. So what we normally do is we'll take the cardboard from the packaging and lay that down on top of the cutting mat to protect it a bit so that it will last longer. We use the small force distributor to secure the blade to the paddle press. You can see that the blade is secured to the paddle press at this point. Now we'll start cutting the rubber sheet to the size of the blade. Start with a light cut on your first pass, and on second and subsequent passes press harder. You'll find that gives you a nice clean cut. Just continue doing the same thing all the way around the blade. It's important when you're using a hobby knife blade to make sure that the blade is very sharp. I would normally replace the blade every couple of rubber sheets that I've cut. Once the force distributor gets in the way of your cutting along the edge of the blade, you can unclamp it and just move it to the other side so that you can continue cutting the remainder of the excess rubber off the rubber sheet so that it fits the blade. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Once you finish cutting all the way around the edge, the excess rubber will come off, and the rubber has been replaced on the blade. You may get a couple bits of rubber on the edge. Just basically brush those off. Good as new. All that's left now is to put a new piece of edge tape on, and then we're ready to play. So grab your edge tape, start on one side of the blade, and literally just go around the edge and press down to secure the edge tape. It's pretty straightforward. Once you get all the way to the other side, just use your hobby knife to cut it. And now you're done. With the paddle press, it's really very straightforward to replace a worn rubber sheet with a brand new one, as you've seen in this video. There's my edge tape, black side, the newly replaced red side, no holes in it, and we're ready to play.